Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell. With me, as always, is my good buddy, my friend, my confidant, the mad scientist, Mike Buchanan, and he is deep in the Buchanan Laboratory. Mikey, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot. What's up over there? You thaw out yet?
Man, this is the frozen tundra down here in South Carolina. We got we got an inch of ice last weekend. And when I say an inch of ice, I mean legit. We got 4 hours of sleet and a full Sunday of freezing rain. And I put a little thing on my Facebook. I did a Facebook Live showing. It was last Monday morning because our show was going to be on that night. And the driveway was an ice rink. I had ice drifts up next to the house. There's a big mound of ice still there, man. It's like 2 feet tall, and it's so cold here in South Carolina. We were down in the single digits one night. We've been down in the low teens. So all of that just refreezes, and we're not getting very, very high on the highs during the day. Like, we're getting up to maybe 40.
Wow.
So not a lot of thawing going on. So, anytime anyone has slipped up and says, when that place the devil lives freezes over, well, it's frozen. So whatever you said was going to happen is probably happening. What about you, man? How cold is it out there in Phoenix, Arizona?
It's
what is it, a frigid 78 degrees or something?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Oh, man. What you got cooking in the lab for us, buddy?
So, we're doing this little 3-part series leading up to Valentine's Day on our Finding Tomorrow segment. And I know that sometimes us gentlemen can not remember important things. So I'm working on an app that will hack into your wife's or significant other's shopping feed, as it were,
Okay.
make a suggestion to you about what to buy, and then remind you about a week before to mail it so it's there on time.
Are you coming over to the dark side? Is this AI, buddy?
The closest it is to AI, bud, is automatic invoicing.
Come on, man. I thought I was pulling you over to the dark side of AI.
Never.
Okay, well, as one that's prone to forget what happened yesterday, that certainly could be a useful tool. I'm not sure I'm good with the whole hacking into her phone thing, but if that's where she keeps all of her shopping wish lists, then
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there for it.
You're just making use of resources, that's all.
Listen, my wife and I have a wonderful, wonderful relationship because we both agree that presents are stupid. We don't buy each other Christmas presents. We don't buy each other birthday presents. We don't do Valentine's Day. We don't do that because
Holy Ebenezer Scrooge, Batman.
I mean, look, our money comes into one pot, and if she buys me something, it's like I bought it. And I'm not going to buy me anything. I'm not cheap. And she's the same way. It works out beautifully. I don't have to remember those things. So it's great. But I tell you what, speaking of remembering things, remember, fans, that we are recording this episode before the Royal Rumble, even though it airs after the Royal Rumble. So if you're here for our reactions to the Royal Rumble, guess what? We don't know. We don't know what happened. Not yet. Tune in next Monday night and we'll give you a full rundown of what happened at the Royal Rumble, our thoughts, and the official kickoff to the road to WrestleMania, which I think is going to be an even bumpier ride than it was last year. So, in the words of Cody Rhodes, What do you want to talk about, buddy? I got something that I want to talk about, but I don't know if that's something that you want to talk about.
Hey, I'm just following the program, bud. You need I'll follow.
So there's been a lot of talk because season 2 of WWE Unreal is now out on Netflix. And by the way, I'm glad someone at Netflix was watching our show last week when I got on my soapbox about the ads, because when I watched Monday Night Raw, I was able to actually fast forward through the ads. Thank you, whoever that was watching our show. I'm sure everyone at Netflix is watching our show to get a reaction to what's going on in the WWE.
There's nothing worth watching on Netflix. Oh wait, did I say that out loud on our Netflix? People disregard that. Jody, edit that out and post.
I'm not going to edit it out because they need to be watching Abundant TV and not Netflix. Be that as it may. So Unreal was released, season 2 of Unreal, and you know, I heard some of this with season 1. I'll be honest, I did not watch season 1. I tried, Mike. I tried watching it, and I just couldn't get into it. Like I don't know what it was. I couldn't get into it. But then I heard all of this. I don't know. It's kind of a bipolar response to season 2. There are some people that absolutely love to peek behind the curtain, see how things work, see how it goes. And then there are some people that are like, you're destroying the wrestling business by pulling that curtain back, by allowing people to see the creative process. Bully Ray is one of those, you know, Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever he goes by these days, from the Dudleys, and you know, I can't think of Bubba or Bully, whatever he wants to be called, without that iconic scene with he and The Rock in the middle of the ring where he says, "We're the Dudley. It doesn't matter who you are." Classic scene, classic promo right there. But I know Bully is not fond of it because, you know, he says it's destroying the wrestling business. Well, let me tell you if pulling the curtain back, if destroying kayfabe is destroying wrestling, let me tell you when that happened. It wasn't when Unreal was put out on Netflix. It was in Madison Square Garden in 1996. When Big Daddy Cool Diesel and Razor Ramon wrestled their last match in the WWF then. And in the steel cage, it was Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Diesel, and Razor Ramon hugging one another, giving the wolf pack symbol, raising each other's hands. They were supposed to be mortal enemies. And that completely pulled that curtain back to show that, hey, there is a lot more that happens behind the scenes than some fans realize. I think at that point, people were catching on that professional wrestling scripted. Everyone going into the match kind of knows what's going to happen. They know the outcome that they want. It is not the F word. It is not fake. Don't say that. I promise you it's not fake. That mat, that ring is still steel, 2x6 boards with a very thin canvas covering it. It hurts. You take a bump, it hurts. Oh, they learn how to fall. I don't know who learns how to fall on 2x6 boards without it hurting. It hurts, I'm going to tell you. However, you know, I think the wrestling community is all caught up on the fact that this is entertainment. I mean, that was the whole move from WWF to WWE, right? Not just because of the World Wildlife Fund, but it was also because if they had to change their name, what are they going to change their name to? Well, something that they are. It is entertainment. It's a television show. It's like, you know, when I'm suffering, Mikey, from insomnia, and I'm scrolling through your favorite app, TikTok. You'll love that almost as much as you love ChatGPT. So I'm scrolling through TikTok and I come across a video of a Friends episode where they are at the reading table and they're going through the final episode and everybody's crying and they're just rehearsing. Did that ruin the television show for me? No, it gave me a peek into. It was interesting to see what happened, and That's how I kind of felt with Unreal after watching 3 episodes, admittedly only 3 episodes of the second season. Now, if you haven't
Yeah.
watched it, I would
Oh,
encourage you to.
hey,
Go
Jody,
ahead.
on that note, off camera, you were saying that in these episodes, a certain Triple Paul needed like triple soap in his mouth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So viewer
just thought I'd
discretion
have that out
advised.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Viewer discretion advised. Understand it is Netflix and it is the WWE. Okay. So yes, there is language involved. So if you're going to watch it as a wrestling fan, I would encourage you to watch it with a close eye on who's in the room, and certainly not for kids' ears. It's not, it's not intolerable, but there are words in it. So yes, there could be some ivory soap used there. However, I would say though it's a really good watch for a couple of reasons. One, you learn some things. So for me, if you'll remember back at Money in the Bank earlier this summer, R-Truth was let go by the WWE. Right. And this was right after Seth Rollins' apparent knee injury. Oh, is it real? Is it not? And it was that whole thing. And then all of a sudden, R-Truth shows up at Money in the Bank and attacks John Cena because John Cena turned heel. And we're like, oh, it was all just a work. He didn't really. Well, guess what? He was really let go. His contract ended and they couldn't come to terms with a new contract. And so they decided not to renew R-Truth's contract. He went to social media and said he was let go. That was a miscommunication. He wasn't let go. They just weren't renewing his contract. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but it didn't happen like immediately. But the
Right.
response from the fans for R-Truth was incredible. Fans wanted truth back. They wanted truth back. How could the WWE do this? WWE didn't have a choice but to reach back out and say, okay, how are we going to make this work? And they did. They didn't come to terms, Mikey, until the day of Money in the Bank. I mean, the ink was barely dry on the deal before R-Truth was coming out to attack John Cena. And so to me, those kind of things are interesting. And to see the emotion that R-Truth shows, not only for the fans, but also for his very best friend, Road Dogg Jesse James, which I didn't know they were like best friends.
Really?
Absolute best friends. Because
Wow.
they came up together. Road Dogg discovered R-Truth in Memphis. If you remember, they tagged together before the New Age Outlaws. It was I think he was going by K-Quick then and not R-Truth. But it was Road Dogg and K-Quick, because he had his rap career and Road Dogg was a wannabe rapper or whatever he was. And I briefly remember that tag team. Well, it turns out they are like the absolute best friends in the whole world.
Wow.
And to see Truth tear up and to get emotional talking about Road Dogg, and to see the same thing in reverse, it was power. It was a powerful display of how bonds and friendship and truly for me, it was encouraging to see two men in a relationship with one another that was that deep. That friendship runs deep. And, whether, putting aside the question of their beliefs or their salvation, just to see two men in that kind of relationship is encouraging because, as men, we need that.
Yes, we do. Now, let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
No,
go
you
ahead.
first.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just to throw one more wrench into everything as we're heading out to our favorite section in just a few seconds. What if Unreal is unreal? And
See,
they're just making stuff up to tell about how they've made stuff up.
what if it's all a work, man?
Or bang, bang. I probably shouldn't do that. Sorry.
Okay, Cactus. The only thing I don't like about the show is the name of the show. And the reason I say that is because the name of the show being Unreal gives the implication that it's not real, that wrestling is not real. And that's not true at all. I'd rather it be something like unscripted but it's not unscripted. It is scripted. So what do you call it? But calling it Unreal gives the impression that it's not real. And while wrestling is predetermined, it's scripted. it's very real. Injuries are very real. You see the real emotions. You see things. There was a scene in there, a shot of Chelsea Green when she was taking on Zelina Vega, and Vega messed up the 619. Why she's doing the 619, I don't know. She messed it up and then tried to save it by like flinging her leg, kicked her right in the nose, broke her nose, just shattered her nose. I mean, Chelsea, and you know what? What an incredible professional, because she finished the match. She did not win the match, and her concern was, how did it look? Not, oh, I can't believe you broke my nose. No, it was, did everything come off well in the match? So it's a really good watch. Language is there. Be forewarned, but I'd say, if you can bear it, then it gives you a really good peek into the underworld of professional wrestling. Speaking of really good things to watch, stay tuned. After the break is our favorite segment of Falls Count Anywhere. It's Finding Tomorrow, coming up right after this.
Welcome back, viewers, to, as Jody and I always say, our favorite part of Falls Count Anywhere, which is Finding Tomorrow. I do want to touch on a couple of things, gentlemen, before we head into the second part of our series here on love. The two things are, if you've been watching this show, you know that I have had a vested interest in Israel on October 7th. Well, finally, on January the 26th, which is a couple of days back as we're taping this, the last prisoner was brought home. And ironically enough, as we're taping this, it's International Holocaust Remembrance Day. 6 million people, Jody, that's a lot. A lot of things we could say about it. But briefly, pray for Israel. Pray for humans that we never forget. Because if I can be blunt, we kind of forgot New York, but no politics. Seriously, pray for Israel always. Pray for those that believe that the Holocaust is a hoax. I can't make this stuff up, but pray for them because they need Jesus as much as anybody. And they may also need a brain transplant or a frontal lobotomy. But I'm not here to offer medical advice. So let's
Are these the same people that think the world is flat?
Pretty much. They think women or think men can have babies? Yeah. Anyway, let me turn this back on track. Make a sharp U-turn. So last week, Jody and I introduced the idea of a 3-part series heading into Valentine's Day. And last week we focused mostly on the love chapter of 1 Corinthians 13, where Paul talks about what love is and what love is not. Now, this is going to air about 12 days before Valentine's Day. So I thought we would focus on how men should behave with regard to their wives, Jody. And you have a verse that we're going to read here.
Yeah, Mike, this is Ephesians 5, starting with verse 25. It says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word, that he might present her to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she should be holy and without blemish. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church.
What do you think about that there, Jojo?
A couple of things I would say here, Mike, is that, as men, as husbands, the importance of us continuing to pursue our wives. It's biblical, and it just says it right here. And so what do you mean it's biblical? Where did it say that? Listen, what it says there is for men to love their wives as Jesus loves the church. Who's the church? Church isn't the building. Church isn't the brick. It's not the family center. It's not the gymnasium. It's not the sanctuary or the Sunday school room. The church is us. It's us. We are the church. And so Christ continues to pursue every single member of the church, every single person that is not a member of the church. Christ is in constant pursuit of their love, of their heart, of their dedication and their devotion. Just as we as husbands should be in constant pursuit of our wives, their love, their heart, their dedication, and their devotion. You say, well, my wife loves me. My wife's devoted to me. My wife she's given me her. What is there left to pursue? Plenty. Because you can very quickly go from romance to roommate. It's a bad place to be. It's a bad place to be. So if you are not constantly pursuing that romantic intimacy with your wife, and only your wife, then you are missing out on the incredible love that can be found in that type of relationship. Same thing with Christ pursuing us and pursuing the church, wanting us to grow and to be shaped and be molded and to continue to be more and more like him so that we can then go out and share with others what he has done in our lives. The Bible uses I think it's over 39 times a comparison of marriage to the relationship we have with Jesus Christ. The analogy is real, and he pursues us just as we should pursue our wives.
That's good, Jody. Paul says at some point, maybe you just read it, and unfortunately my brain doesn't work the way I want it to, but Paul says that I speak to you a mystery. Maybe it was back in 1 Corinthians 13. But Paul says, I'm speaking to you about a mystery, talking about marriage. But he then immediately says, I'm talking about Christ in the church. Mm-hmm. Right? See, Paul tells us that we are to renew our wives by the renewing of the word. Jesus is the word.
Yep.
So that comes natural for him. Men, not so much. And I'm not the first one to say this, so I'm not taking any credit for it whatsoever. But a lot of people think that that's why these verses are written the way they are.
Yeah.
Men don't know how to love. They know how to respect each other, pal around, do all that sort of stuff. But men, for whatever reason, have an issue with knowing how to love. And you brought something up at that last bit about only your wife. Right? Now, I understand that not everybody that watches this show is a Christian yet. And I pray that it happens before Jesus comes back. That being said, though, even Christians can be led into temptation.
Absolutely.
I've seen too many stories about Pastor Superstar screwed up and fell. So, Jody and I were talking about it beforehand. One thing that might help is to always have a photo of your wife with you. Mm-hmm. I mentioned in a wallet, and Jody updated me because not only am I anti-AI, but I'm anti-technology. And so you can also do it on the phone. Jody shows a picture of his lovely Duchess. The more you focus on one thing, your wife, and loving her, the easier it's going to be.
Yeah.
Even when she's not lovable in your sight. See, because Jesus came and died for us while we were yet sinners.
Exactly.
Loving him, we were just against him.
Yeah.
And we should have that same mindset that, you know what? no matter what my wife does, no matter how I feel, I will love her. There's an old Christian song by a gentleman named Don Francisco that said, "Love is not a feeling, it's an act of your will."
Hmm.
And men need to willfully act with love toward their wife.
Yeah. It has to be intentional. It has to be intentional. Listen, my father gave me some really good advice right before Delinda and I got married, and that was over 29 years ago. Not quite 29 years ago, I should say. He said, "Listen, son," he said, "marriage has absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with her." And what he meant by that, and it's taken me a long time to figure out exactly how to apply that advice and what's meant by that. But at the end of the day, what is meant by that is I am to love my wife unconditionally without expecting anything in return. Because I can hear the arguments now. Yeah, well, I'd love to do that if she'd show me respect, or she'd treat me with this, or she would, she would pleasure me in the bedroom. I'd love to do. Listen, you are commanded to love your spouse. Not with conditions, not with yeah buts, not with only ifs. Love your spouse without any kind of expectation of anything in return, because that's what real love is. If I love someone because they're going to do something for me, that's manipulation. It's not love.
No, speaking of manipulation, Jody, that ties right into the other verse that we were talking about over there in John 10.
Yeah, John 10, 17 and 18 says, "Therefore my Father loves me because I lay down my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. This command I have received from my Father."
And that's Jesus talking there. And as far as the manipulation goes, gentlemen and gentlemen, you have to make that choice. Mm-hmm. Whether your wife entices you with certain ideas or not to make you love her more, you still have to follow through on that.
Yeah.
And make the decision that, hey, I'm not going to watch football this Saturday. I'm going to go yard sale shopping with my wife. Or I'm not going to have poker night at the boys. I'm going to sit home and watch a rom-com with my wife.
Yeah.
And
yeah. It's not about the activity. It's about the company.
Absolutely. That's what my wife and I tell each other all the time.
Yeah.
And one more thing about love. I know we're heading toward a close in just a bit. When we talk about loving our wives, right, as ourselves, has nobody ever hated himself? Let me also offer this to you. Jesus said the first commandment is love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, and thy mind. And the second commandment is like unto the first. Love your neighbor as yourself. Your wife is not your neighbor. Your wife is a part of you, right? Yep. My body right now is, and Jody, we've talked about camera, my body drops things every now and then right now. I have trouble walking every now and then. But that doesn't mean I beat the crap out of it because it's not doing what I want it to. That's not love. That's not self-love. That's not any kind of love.
Yeah.
You have to love that person with God's help, because honestly, that's the only way any of us can love anybody. But he will do that for you because he's made it a commandment to you to love your wife as Jesus loved the church.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. And Mike, I love my wife. And there's no because or whatever added to it. I love my wife. And I don't tell her that enough, because if I told her that enough, that's all I would ever say. I'm going to tell you something else, though. Tell you something else I love. You know what else I love?
What's that?
I love The Clash with Jeff Dixon and Chris Whaley, coming up right now on Abundant TV.